Hey guys, I'm John J. Villanueva and welcome back to our keyboard-related video. In today's video, we will review the Akko Mod007, Akko's answer to the GMMK Pro and the Keychron Q1. First, I need to preface this by disclaiming that Akko did send this keyboard out for review, but this will not affect my opinions on it. Akko did not get early access on this review, and Akko is watching this review the same time you do. But with that out of the way, let's start with the review. The Akko Mod007 is a mid-range gasket mount keyboard from Akko that competes directly with the GMMK Pro and Keychron Q1. It does this by making a 75% CNC aluminum keyboard with a knob that costs as much as the previously mentioned keyboards. What it adds though is a nice cold cable and a free FR4 plate out of the box. If you haven't checked out my unboxing yet, I highly recommend that you do. As for the layout, I praise the Akko ASA81's layout because of its compactness yet narrowed layout. The Mod007 though is an exploded 75 layout like the two other keyboards. I wish Akko would have changed it a bit and offered the ASA81 layout on the keyboard, but that's my opinion. Otherwise, the function keys are separated on the top along with the metal knob. The knob cluster has 4 keys: home, page up, page down, and end. And under that is the arrow keys which are separated. At first, I wasn't fond of the delete key being on top of the backspace, but I've got used to it. As for the build quality, it being a CNC aluminum case, I was impressed with its build quality. The keyboard is heavy and you feel the premiumness in using it. The sides are chamfered, making it easier to lift, and it's flanked with 2 parts, the top case and the bottom case, which in my stock testing produced a pingy sound just like the Keychron Q1. Luckily, I was able to fix this with a force break mod. Otherwise, the USB Type-C port is recessed, which makes it harder for the users to miss it. Overall, I'm more than impressed with the quality of the case. There are no visible scratches or dings, even on the insides. Sadly though, a weakness of this keyboard is that the PCB is north-facing. Akko did say that they're gonna release a south-facing Mod007 next year, but we have to wait for that to be released. I was able to use this without interference on their ASA keycaps and long pole switches, though with my EPBT set, I kept noticing their interference with the switches. I wish Akko can change the PCB as fast as they could, as this can be the deal breaker for many of the keyboard enthusiasts in the market. Luckily, the PCB supports screw-in stabs, as well as plate mount. The included plate mount stabs on the Akko Mod007 are pre-lubed and clipped out of the box, and when I lubed it, there were no audible ticking or rattling to be heard of. Kudos to Akko for supplying this with good enough stabs unlike the GMMK Pro. But I wish it was screw-in stabs and not plate-mounted ones. Another con for me is the lack of support for QMK or BIA, just like the GMMK Pro. Only the Keychron Q1 is natively supported in BIA. An upside though is that Akko Cloud Driver is good enough for changing macro keys and lighting using the computer. But again, this is something Akko can improve upon on the next release. Now talking about the knob's outer diameter is 1.9 cm, and it uses a standard size potentiometer. It can control the brightness of the RGB as well as the volume of the computer. I can seem to reprogram it on the Akko software though, which is a letdown. Hopefully Akko makes it reprogrammable. And lastly, the PCB supports 3 and 5 pin switches. I tried every switch I had just like the Akko ASA81 and they all seem to work fine. The board ships with an alu plate and an FR4 plate for the same price as the Keychron Q1 and GMMK Pro. In modding the keyboard, I was able to barely mount the FR4 plate but I was having a hard time to mount it properly. Oftentimes, the PCB would fall out of place. But that might be my fault since I added a sheet of PE foam. Not to mention, the FR4 plate has no stand-ups, making it hard for the PCB to even mount without switches. In my configuration, I used the alu plate with the jelly switches as I think it provides enough flex for me as well as the clackiness I wanted from the jelly blacks. Something I want for Akko to improve upon is having an instructional video for those of us who want a detailed guide on how to mod their mod series or Akko ACR series. This is a common thing on custom boards. Why not make it also for the mainstream DIY crowd since they're opening up their mod and ACR series nevertheless? There are extra gaskets out of the box for the FR4 plate. They are porous and quite soft. Even with the aluminum, I was able to flex the plate pretty softly. I might replace this to the 65 gasket soon, so subscribe for that. I've tested this keyboard for 3 weeks now, and with the various keycaps and switches, I was quite happy with the sound this keyboard can give. Unlike the ACR81, this keyboard is not muted by any means, and this can really accentuate the clack or talk you want from a keyboard. But with that said, I think modding can help this keyboard out. To recap what I did in the modding video, I added a layer of tape on the back of the PCB and 0.5mm of PE foam on top. This is to give a more satisfying sound, and in the end, I did a force break mode to remove the pinginess. To remove the hollowness, I added a thin sheet of ABA foam. This resulted into a poppy and clacky sound profile. Have a listen. In conclusion, Akko now has a great contender to the GMMK Pro and Keychron Q1. If I could describe this keyboard, it's like the Q1's flex and pinginess, mixed with the knob of the GMMK Pro. It's the best of both worlds but with a few caveats, like the north-facing switches and no BS support. But if you're willing to pardon those weaknesses and use higher profiles than Cherry, I think this is a good keyboard kit for your money. The addition of the FR4 plate makes it a worthy competitor price-wise to the Keychron Q1 and GMMK Pro. Add to that the coiled cable. To summarize all my thoughts, the Mod007, with a few more tweaks, might as well be the king of the mid-range enthusiast 75% keyboard. I just hope that Akko delivers on those promises, like the south-facing PCB as well as the support for BIA or QMK out of the box. Maybe while they're at it, reduce the pinginess of the board entirely without even modding it. I hope you liked my detailed review. This review takes a long time to make and I hope you like and subscribe and comment your thoughts in the comment section below. But until then, I'm Johan J. Villanueva and I'll see you on the next video.